The mining station orbited around a dead planet when Amy Carter first detected the alien signal. She was alone on her shift watching the screens that monitored deep space. The signal was unlike anything in the database. It pulsed with a rhythm that seemed almost like a heartbeat. Amy checked the readings 3 times before calling Captain Ryan. Foster Ryan arrived at the command center still half asleep, but his eyes went wide when he saw the data. "This is not Kirathi or Zilani technology," he said quietly. The signal was coming from a ship that appeared to be drifting without power. It was massive, at least 10 times bigger than their mining station. The hull was crystalline and seemed to shimmer with colors that hurt to look at directly. Amy enhanced the scanner readings and gasped, "Captain, there are life signs aboard, just one, but it is definitely alive." Ryan made a decision that would change everything. "We are going to investigate. Prepare a boarding team." Amy nodded and sent out the call to wake up the rest of the crew. The boarding team consisted of Ryan, Amy, and 2 engineers named Chris and Tony. They suited up in their environmental gear and took the shuttle across the void of space. As they approached the alien vessel, a docking port seemed to appear out of nowhere, as if the ship sensed their presence and invited them in. Inside the ship, the walls glowed with soft blue light that seemed to come from within the crystal structure itself. The air was breathable according to their sensors, but had a sweet smell like flowers mixed with cinnamon. They followed a corridor that curved in impossible ways, making them dizzy until they reached what appeared to be the command center. There, floating in a sphere of golden energy, was the most beautiful being any of them had ever seen. She had skin that shifted between purple and silver like liquid mercury. Her hair floated around her head like it was underwater and seemed to be made of starlight itself. She had 4 arms, crossed over her chest, and her eyes were closed. Ryan stepped forward slowly and the sphere began to dissolve. The alien woman drifted down until her feet touched the floor. Her eyes opened, revealing irises that swirled with galaxies. She looked at the humans with curiosity, not fear. When she spoke, her voice was in their minds, not their ears. "I am Princess Kira of the Celestial Empire." She said, "My ship was attacked by pirates, and my crew sacrificed themselves so I could escape in stasis. I have been drifting for what feels like eternity." Ryan removed his helmet, showing her his face. "We are humans from Earth," he said. "We mean you no harm." Kira tilted her head, studying Ryan with interest. "Humans," she repeated. "I have heard stories of your kind. You are the ones who survived the Void War against impossible odds. You are the ones who tamed black holes for energy. You are the ones who taught the galaxy that courage comes in small packages." Ryan felt embarrassed by her praise. "Those are just stories," he said. "Most of us are just trying to survive day by day." Kira smiled, and it was like watching a sunrise. "You are modest too," she said. "Another trait I was told about your species." Amy stepped forward with a medical scanner. "May I check if you are injured?" she asked. Kira nodded and stood still while Amy ran the device over her. The readings were confusing, showing biological patterns that should not exist together yet somehow did. "She is healthy as far as I can tell," Amy reported, "but her biology is unlike anything in our database." Chris and Tony were examining the ship systems with wonder. "This technology is centuries ahead of ours," Tony whispered. "The ship seems to be organic and mechanical at the same time. It responds to thought, more than touch," Chris added. "We could learn so much from this." Kira watched them with amusement. "Your curiosity is refreshing," she said. "Most species would be afraid or greedy, but you are simply fascinated." She walked to a wall and placed her hand on it. The entire room lit up with star charts showing systems humans had never seen before. "This is my empire," she said. "Or what is left of it. The pirates have been attacking our outer colonies for years, taking our people as slaves. My father, the Emperor, sent me to find allies. He believed that somewhere in the galaxy there were beings brave enough and clever enough to help us." Ryan looked at the star charts and saw the scale of her empire. It spanned thousands of systems. "That is a lot of space, too." "Protect," he said. "We are just miners on a small station. What could we possibly do to help?" Kira turned to him with hope in her galaxy eyes. "My father once told me that humans defeated a fleet of 1,000 ships with just 12 fighters, because you Think differently than other species. You see solutions where others see only problems. You find hope where others find only despair. She moved closer to Ryan, and he felt warmth radiating from her. I said, "Hey, sweetie." The alien princess blushed and replied, "Yes, darling." The words came out before Ryan could stop them, and the entire boarding team froze in shock. But Kira laughed a sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "In my culture," she said, "such informal greetings are reserved for those we trust completely. You honor me with your familiarity." Amy cleared her throat, breaking the moment. "Captain, we should report back to the station." Ryan nodded, but found it hard to look away from Kira. "Princess, would you like to come with us? Your ship seems to need repairs, and we could offer you shelter." Kira considered this for a moment, then nodded. "I accept your hospitality, Captain Ryan," she said formally, then added with a smile, "You may continue to call me sweetie if you wish." The boarding team exchanged glances but said nothing as they prepared to return to the mining station. With their unexpected guest, as they flew back, Ryan could not shake the feeling that this meeting was destiny. The war, she spoke of the pirates taking slaves, and an empire in danger. It all sounded like something too big for a small mining crew to handle. But when he looked at Kira, he saw trust in her eyes, and felt something stir in his chest that he had not felt in years. The mining station crew gathered in the docking bay to see the alien princess. Their reactions ranged from fear to wonder to suspicion. But when Kira stepped out of the shuttle and smiled at them with genuine warmth, something changed. The fear melted away, replaced by curiosity. She was not what they expected from an alien royal station commander. Beth Wilson stepped forward, officially welcoming Kira. "Welcome to Mining Station 7, she said. "We are honored by your presence." Kira bowed gracefully. "Thank you, Commander. Your kindness to a stranger speaks well of your species." The first few days with Kira on the mining station were filled with wonder and discovery. She shared meals with the crew, teaching them about her people while learning about humanity in return. Her favorite Earth food turned out to be chocolate, which made her eyes literally sparkle with delight. The crew found her presence strangely calming despite her alien nature. Ryan spent most of his time with Kira, showing her around the station and explaining human technology. She absorbed information, like a sponge, asking questions that often made him think about things in new ways. "Why do you mine asteroids when you could harvest energy directly from stars?" she asked once. Ryan had to admit he did not have a good answer. In the engineering bay, Chris and Tony worked with Kira to understand her ship. The crystalline vessel responded to her mental commands but seemed dead to human touch. She explained that the ship was grown, not built. It was a living organism bred for space travel. This revelation opened up possibilities they had never imagined. One evening, Ryan found Kira in the observation deck staring at the stars. She looked sad, and he sat beside her without speaking. After a while, she said, "I can feel them dying. My people are connected through quantum entanglement. When one of us dies, we all feel an echo of it." The pirates killed 3 more today. Ryan wanted to comfort her but did not know how. Human words seemed inadequate for alien grief. Instead, he did something that surprised them both. He took her hand in his. Her skin was warm and smooth with a slight electric tingle that was not unpleasant. Kira looked at their joined hands with wonder. "In my culture," she whispered, "physical contact is sacred. We only touch those we consider family." Ryan started to pull away, but she held on tighter. "You do not understand what you have just done. Captain Ryan Foster, you have offered me kinship. This is more than friendship, more than alliance. This is belonging." Amy walked in at that moment and saw them holding hands. She raised an eyebrow but said nothing about it. "Captain, we are receiving a distress signal." She reported it is coming from a human cargo vessel under attack. Ryan stood immediately, but did not let go of. "Kira, hand show me," he said, in the command center. The main screen showed a human cargo ship being pursued by 3 vessels of unknown design. The cargo ship was already damaged and losing atmosphere. Ryan recognized the attacking ships from Kira's description. These were the pirates she had warned them about. "We have to help them," Ryan said. But Beth shook his head. "We are a mining station, not a warship. We have no weapons. Kyra stepped forward. If you can get me to my ship, I can stop them, she said. My vessel has defensive capabilities you have not seen yet. Ryan made a quick decision. Amy, Chris, Tony, you are with us. Beth, keep the station ready for survivors. They rushed to the shuttle and flew toward Kyra's ship. As they approached, the crystalline vessel began to glow, responding to Kira's presence even from a distance. Once aboard, Kira placed her hands on what looked like a simple crystal panel. The entire ship came alive around them. Lights pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat, and the walls hummed with power. Hold on to something, she warned as the ship began to move. The acceleration should have crushed them, but somehow they felt nothing. The pirate vessels detected them and turned to attack, firing energy weapons that would have destroyed any human ship. But Kira's ship absorbed the energy like a sponge absorbing water. The crystal hull glowed brighter with each hit. Kira's eyes turned solid silver as she merged consciousness with her ship. She raised her forearms in the space around. The pirate vessels began to warp. Their weapons fired back at them, trapped in bubbles of bent space-time. Within minutes, all 3 pirate ships were disabled, floating helpless in space. The human cargo vessel sent a grateful message, but Kira was not finished. She guided her ship closer to the pirate vessels and spoke through the communication system. I am Princess Kira of the Celestial Empire, she announced. You will release all slaves immediately, or face the consequences. The pirates tried to flee, but their engines were dead. They had no choice but to comply. Dozens of beings from various species were transported from the pirate ships to the cargo vessel. Among them were several of Kira's own people who cried with joy when they saw her. Ryan watched in awe as Kira coordinated the rescue. She was magnificent in her power and compassion. After all the slaves were freed, she turned to the pirates. You will send a message to your leaders, she commanded. Tell them the Celestial Empire has found new allies. Tell them the humans stand with us now. Back on the mining station, the rescued beings were given food and medical attention. The cargo vessel captain, a woman named Helen Park, could not stop thanking Ryan and his crew. You saved us all, she said. Those pirates have been terrorizing this sector for months. Kyra's own people gathered around her, speaking in a language that sounded like music. They kept looking at Ryan and the other humans with something like reverence. One of them, an elderly male with skin like polished silver, approached Ryan. You are the one who offered kinship to our princess, he said. This is unprecedented. No alien has ever been given such honor. Ryan felt embarrassed. I just held her hand, he said. The elderly alien smiled. You do not understand the significance in our culture. That simple gesture means you would die for her and she for you. It is a bond that cannot be broken. The humans exchanged worried glances. They had no idea what they had gotten into. That night, Kira found Ryan alone in his quarters. May I enter? She asked. He nodded and she sat beside him on his small bed. I owe you an explanation, she said. When you took my hand, you did something no non-celestial has ever done. You treated me not as a princess or an alien, but simply as someone who needed comfort. Ryan looked at her beautiful alien face and felt that strange warmth again. I would do it again, he said without hesitation. Kira's smile was radiant. You continue to surprise me. Ryan Foster, my father was right about humans. You have a capacity for connection that transcends species. She stood to leave but paused at the door. The pirates will come in force now, she said. They know where I am, and they know humans are protecting me. I have put your station in danger. Ryan stood and walked to her. Then we will face them together, he said. Just like you said, kinship means family, and family protects each other. Kira reached out with one of her 4 hands and touched his face gently. Your courage is beautiful, she whispered. Then she left, leaving Ryan standing there with his heart racing and his face warm where she had touched him. Amy found him later still standing in the same spot. Are you okay, Captain? She asked. Ryan nodded slowly. I think I am falling in love with an alien princess, he admitted. Amy laughed. Well, there are worse problems to have, she said. Just remember she has 4 arms. That is 2 more hugs than normal. Despite the joke, Ryan knew the situation was serious. The pirates would come and the mining station was not prepared for war. But looking at his crew and the rescued beings, he felt something he had not felt in a long time. Hope. They might be outnumbered and outgunned, but they had something the pirates did not. They had Kira and her impossible ship. They had human determination and creativity. They had a bond between species that should not exist, but did. And sometimes that was enough to change the course of history. The pirate fleet arrived 3 days later, just as Kira had predicted. 50 ships emerged from hyperspace surrounding the small mining station. Ryan stood in the command center watching the tactical display with a sinking heart. They were outnumbered, 50-1. Even with Kira's ship, they could not fight so many. Beth was already preparing evacuation procedures, but Kira placed a hand on her shoulder. "Wait," she said. "I have been communicating with my ship. It has been analyzing the pirate vessels and found something interesting. They are using stolen celestial technology, but they do not understand it fully. There are weaknesses we can exploit." Amy pulled up the scan data. Kira was right. The pirate ships had crystalline components grafted onto their hulls, but the integration was crude. "They are using our technology like hammers when they should be used like scalpels," Kira explained. "If we can disrupt their control frequencies, the stolen components will turn against them." Ryan's mind raced, with possibilities. "How many ships would we need to disable to make them retreat?" he asked. Kira closed her eyes. Calculating. "Their fleet structure is hierarchical. Disable the command ships and the others will scatter. We need to identify and target 5 specific vessels." Chris and Tony had been working on something in the engineering bay. They rushed in carrying a device that looked like a satellite dish crossed with a tuning fork. "We modified the mining laser with Kira," Help Tony announced. "It can send targeted frequency pulses that should interfere with their stolen tech." The lead pirate ship sent a communication demand. "Surrender the princess, and we will let you live." The voice was cold and mechanical. Ryan responded by stepping in front of the screen. "She is under our protection. You will have to go through us." The pirate laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Foolish humans, you are nothing but insects to be crushed." Kira stepped forward beside Ryan. Her forearms spread wide. I am Princess Kira of the Celestial Empire," she declared. "And these humans are my chosen companions. Harm them and you face not just me but the full wrath of my father armies." The pirates paused clearly, not expecting this. Ryan whispered to Kira, "Can your father really send armies?" She whispered back. Not in time, but they do not know that Ryan smiled at her confidence and improvisation. "You are learning human tricks," he said. She smiled back. "I had a good teacher." The pirates opened fire, but Kira was ready. Her ship positioned itself between the station and the incoming weapons, absorbing the energy blasts. The modified mining laser fired its frequency pulse at the first command ship. The effect was immediate. The crystalline components on the pirate vessel began to glow and crack. The pirate ship spun out of control as its stolen technology turned against it. Power surges ripped through its systems and it exploded in a brilliant flash. "1 down, 4 to go," Amy announced. The other pirates hesitated, clearly shocked that their invincible fleet could be hurt. Helen Park and her cargo crew had not left yet. They volunteered to help. "Our ship has no weapons," Helen said, "but we can ram them if needed." Ryan shook his head. "No unnecessary deaths," he said. "We find another way. That is what humans do. We find another way." Kira's ship began to sing. It was the only word for the harmonic frequency that emanated from its crystalline hull. The sound was beautiful and terrible at once. The remaining command ships tried to flee, but the song followed them, disrupting their systems. It was not destroying them, but disabling them. Then something unexpected happened. The slaves still aboard the pirate ships began to revolt. Inspired by seeing the pirates vulnerable, they fought back using whatever they could find as weapons. The pirate fleet fell into chaos as they faced threats from within and without. One of the pirate commanders managed to send a desperate message. "We surrender. We surrender." Stop the singing. Stop the resistance. We will leave and never return. Ryan looked at Kira, who nodded. They accepted the surrender on one condition. All slaves were to be freed immediately. Over the next hour, hundreds of beings were transported from the pirate ships to the mining station and cargo vessel. The station was overcrowded, but nobody complained. Freedom was worth any discomfort. Many of the freed slaves were from Kira Empire, and they wept with joy when they saw her. Among the freed slaves was a young, celestial girl who ran to Kira crying, "Princess, you came for us. You did not abandon us." Kira held the girl with all four arms. "I would never abandon our people," she said. "But I could not have done this without the humans. They showed me that strength comes not from power but from standing up for what is right." The pirate fleet limped away, defeated and humiliated. They had come expecting easy prey and found instead an alliance they could not break. Ryan watched them go, knowing they would spread. The word humans and celestials stood together now. That evening the station threw a celebration. Humans and dozens of alien species mingled freely, sharing food and stories. Music from 100 worlds filled the air. Amy had somehow figured out how to make a chocolate cake for Kira, who declared it the greatest achievement of human civilization. Ryan found himself alone with Kira on the observation deck again. She was glowing, literally glowing with happiness. "My people are safe because of you," she said. "You risked everything for strangers." Ryan shook his head. "They stopped being strangers when you called them family," he said. Kira moved closer to him, her four hands reaching out to touch his face, arms and shoulders. "You beautiful impossible human," she whispered. "You have given me more than safety. You have given me hope." Ryan's heart was pounding as he looked into her swirling galaxy eyes. "I need to tell you something," Kira said. "When I return to my empire, I am expected to marry a celestial, noble to strengthen political alliances, but I do not want that anymore. I want—" She stopped, unable to find the words Ryan understood anyway. "I said, 'Hey, sweetie.'" The alien princess blushed and replied, "Yes, darling." This time the words were deliberate, meaningful. They both knew what they were saying. Ryan pulled her close and she wrapped all four arms around him. They stayed like that for a long time. Two beings from different worlds finding home in each other. Beth's voice over the intercom interrupted. "Them, Captain. We are receiving a transmission from Earth Command. They have been monitoring the situation." Ryan and Kira rushed to the command center, where Admiral Susan Gray appeared on the screen. "Captain Foster," the Admiral began, "what you and your crew have done today has implications beyond your understanding. You have forged humanity. First alliance with a galactic empire. Earth stands ready to formalize this alliance, if Princess Kira is willing." Kira stepped forward. "I am more than willing, Admiral," she said, "but I have one condition. The alliance must be based on equality and mutual respect. Humans will not be subordinates or servants, but full partners." Admiral Gray smiled. "We would have it no other way, Princess." The freed slaves had been listening. Many of them were from species humanity had never encountered before. They began pledging their own support for the alliance. The Zilani offered their advanced medical knowledge. The Tarathi promised to share their agricultural techniques. The Rillan volunteered their skills in quantum computing. What had started as a rescue mission was becoming something greater. A coalition of species united not by force or fear, but by a shared belief in freedom and mutual aid. Ryan realized this was what humanity had always been meant to do, not to conquer the stars but to unite them. Chris had been doing calculations, Captain, he said excitedly. If all these species share their technology, we could advance centuries in mere years. We could end hunger, disease, and want. We could explore galaxies no one has ever seen. We could build a future where no one needs to be a slave or a pirate. Tony added, and it all started because you decided to investigate one distress signal, because you chose kindness over caution, because you held the hand of someone who needed comfort. Ryan felt embarrassed by the praise, but Kira squeezed his hand with two of hers. Do not diminish what you have done, she said. You have changed the course of history, not with weapons or threats but with simple human decency. That is a power greater than any technology. The crowd cheered and Ryan realized she was right. The next days were busy as they organized transportation for all the freed beings. Kira's ship somehow expanded to accommodate more passengers, defying physics in ways that made Tony and Chris giddy with excitement. Earth sent ships to help and soon a small fleet was assembled. Before leaving, Kira met with each member of the mining crew personally. To Beth, she gave a crystal that would allow instant communication across any distance. To Amy, she provided medical knowledge that would revolutionize human healthcare. To Chris and Tony, she shared engineering secrets that would transform human technology. To Ryan, she gave something different. A small ring made from the same crystal as her ship. "It will always connect us," she said. "No matter how far apart we are, you will know I am safe and I will know the same of you." Ryan put it on and felt a warm pulse like a heartbeat. The time came for Kira to return to her empire to report to her father and formalize the alliance. Ryan stood at the docking port trying to be strong. "This is not goodbye," Kira said firmly. "This is just the beginning. I will return, and when I do, we will build something beautiful together." Ryan kissed her forehead, the most intimate gesture he could think of. "I will be waiting, sweetie," he said. She laughed through her tears. "Yes, darling," she replied. "I know you will." 6 months passed after Kira left, and the mining station had transformed beyond recognition. It was now a diplomatic hub where species from across the galaxy came to meet and trade. Amy Medical Center used celestial healing techniques to cure diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. Chris and Tony Workshop produced hybrid technologies that seemed like magic. Ryan wore the crystal ring every day, feeling the steady pulse that told him Kira was alive and safe. Sometimes the pulse would quicken, and he knew she was thinking of him. During those moments, he would touch the ring and send his own thoughts back to her. Earth had changed too. The alliance with the Celestial Empire brought prosperity and knowledge that lifted humanity to new heights. Cities were powered by crystalline energy cores that produced no waste. Medical nanobots healed injuries in minutes. Food replicators ended hunger forever. But Ryan stayed at the mining station waiting for Kira's return. One morning, Amy rushed into his office. "Captain, she is coming back." Kira's ship just appeared on long-range sensors. Ryan's heart leaped, but Amy's face was worried. "She is not alone. There is an entire fleet with her. Over 100 ships, all Celestial Empire vessels." Ryan stood at the docking port as the massive fleet approached Kira's ship, led them glowing brighter than ever before. When she emerged, Ryan barely recognized her. She wore elaborate robes that shifted color with every movement. A crown of living crystal floated above. Her head behind her walked what could only be her father. Emperor Zorak was imposing, standing 3 meters tall with skin like polished platinum. His 6 arms moved independently, and his eyes held the weight of millennia. Ryan felt very small and very human as the Emperor approached. But then Kira ran forward and embraced him with all 4 arms, and Ryan forgot everything else. "I missed you so much," she whispered in his mind through their connection. Ryan held her tight, not caring that the entire diplomatic corps of 2 empires was watching. "I missed you too, sweetie," he said aloud. The Emperor made a sound that might have been disapproval or amusement, so the Emperor said, his voice like distant thunder, "You are the human who claimed kinship with my daughter." Ryan stood straight and met the Emperor gaze directly. "Yes, Your Majesty, I am Ryan Foster, and I would do it again." The Emperor studied him for a long moment. "Kira told me everything." The Emperor continued, "How you saved her, how you freed our people, how you stood against 50 pirate ships with nothing but mining equipment and courage." He paused. "I did not believe her. I thought she was exaggerating, but then I investigated myself." The Emperor gestured, and holographic images appeared showing the battle from multiple angles. "I saw the recordings, I interviewed the freed slaves, I examined the wreckage, and I realized my daughter was not exaggerating. She was understating. You humans are insane in the most wonderful way." Beth stepped forward with Earth diplomatic team. "Welcome to Mining Station 7, Your Majesty," she said. "We are honored by your presence." The Emperor waved a hand. I did not come for diplomacy. He said I came for a wedding. Everyone froze. Ryan felt his mouth drop open. Kira blushed purple and tried to speak, Father, we have not even. But the Emperor interrupted. In our culture, when kinship is claimed, it must be honored. You claimed kinship with my daughter Human. That means marriage or death. Choose Ryan. Did not hesitate. Marriage, he said. Definitely marriage. The Emperor laughed, a sound like rolling thunder. Good answer. I would have hated to vaporize you. My daughter seems fond of you. Kira hit her father with all four arms at once. Father, you are. Impossible, she said, but she was smiling. The next weeks were a whirlwind of preparation. A wedding between human and celestial royalty required protocols that had to be invented from scratch. Amy became the wedding planner by default, since she was the only one who could manage both species requirements without having a breakdown. The ceremony would combine traditions from both cultures. Helen Park crew had stayed to help, and they built a crystalline chapel that floated in space tethered to the station. Tony and Chris designed holographic decorations that painted nebulas across the walls. Beings from dozens of species contributed their own traditions. Kira taught Ryan the celestial marriage vows, which involved quantum entanglement of their life forces. It sounded terrifying, but Ryan trusted her completely. He taught her the human tradition of wedding rings, which she found beautifully primitive and symbolic. The night before the wedding, Ryan could not sleep. He walked to the observation deck and found the Emperor standing there alone. The massive alien turned to him. Tomorrow you become my son, the Emperor said. Are you prepared for what that means? Ryan shook his head. Honestly, I do not think anyone could be prepared for this, Your Majesty. But I love your daughter and I will do whatever it takes to make her happy. The Emperor nodded. That is the correct answer, he said. Then his expression softened. When Kira's mother died in the war, I thought I would never see my daughter truly happy again, the Emperor admitted. But when she speaks of you, her entire being lights up. You have given her something I could not hope for, a future beyond duty and obligation. For that I am grateful. The wedding day arrived and beings from across the galaxy gathered to witness it. Earth sent its highest officials, the Celestial Empire brought its entire royal court. The freed slaves came to honor those who had saved them. Even some reformed pirates attended, having abandoned their old ways. Ryan stood at the altar wearing a suit that incorporated both human and celestial designs. It shimmered with embedded crystals that responded to his emotions. When the music began, a fusion of earth and celestial harmonies, everyone turned to watch Kira enter. She was breathtaking. Her dress seemed to be made of captured starlight flowing around her like liquid space. Her forearms were decorated with intricate patterns that told the story of their meeting. The crown above her head had been replaced with a simple circlet that matched Ryan's crystal ring. As she walked toward him, Ryan remembered their first meeting, how she had been dying alone in space, how they had saved each other in ways neither expected, how a simple gesture of comfort had grown into something that would reshape the galaxy. When Kira reached him, she took his hands in all four of hers. Ready to make history, she whispered. Always, Ryan replied. The ceremony began with Admiral Gray representing Earth and Emperor Zorak representing the Celestial Empire. They spoke of unity and hope of two species becoming one family. Then came the vows. Ryan spoke first. Kira, from the moment you called me darling, I knew my life had changed forever. I promised to stand with you through peace and war, through joy and sorrow, through the vast distances of space and the quiet moments at home. You are my sweetie, my princess, my partner, and my love. Kira's eyes sparkled with tears as she replied, Ryan, you showed me that strength is not about power, but about kindness. You taught me that family is not just about blood, but about choice. I choose you today and every day forward. You are my darling, my hero, my teacher, and my heart. The quantum entanglement ceremony followed. Kira placed a crystal crown on Ryan's head, and he felt a rush of connection, unlike anything before. He could feel her emotions, her thoughts, her very essence. She was feeling the same from him, They were still individuals, but now permanently linked. I now pronounce you married. By the laws of Earth and the Celestial Empire, Admiral Gray announced, may your union bring peace and prosperity to all. Ryan kissed Kira, while the crowd erupted in celebration. The kiss was broadcast across both empires and beyond, showing the galaxy that love could transcend any boundary. At the reception, Ryan and Kira danced to music from both worlds. The Emperor surprised everyone by dancing with Beth, who barely came up to his waist. Amy caught the bouquet, which made her blush when a handsome, celestial noble winked at her. Chris and Tony were deep in conversation with celestial engineers planning their next invention. As the celebration continued, Ryan and Kira slipped away to the observation deck, where they had spent so many hours. They stood together looking at the stars that no longer seemed so vast or cold. I said, "Hey, sweetie." The alien princess blushed and replied, "Yes, darling." They said it together this time, laughing at their private joke. "We did it," Kira said. "We really changed everything." Ryan pulled her close, feeling complete in a way he never had before. "No," he corrected. "We just began to change everything. The real work starts now." Kira smiled, showing those pearl teeth that had captivated him from the start. "Then let us begin," she said. "Together." Ryan agreed, together. 5 years had passed since the wedding that united two species. Ryan and Kira lived on a space station they had built together, orbiting between Earth and the Celestial Empire capital. It was a marvel of hybrid technology with crystalline structures that grew like living trees and human designs that provided comfort and familiarity. Their daughter Luna was 3 years old with her mother. Purple skin, but only 2 arms like her father. She had inherited the best of both species, including the human capacity for curiosity and the celestial ability to interface with technology. Her favorite game was making the station lights dance to her laughter. The galaxy had changed dramatically. The alliance between humans and celestials had inspired other species to form similar bonds. Wars decreased as trade and cultural exchange increased. The pirates who had once terrorized space lanes now worked as legitimate traders or explorers. The universe was not perfect, but it was infinitely better. Ryan was in his office reviewing proposals for new colony worlds when Luna toddled in. "Daddy," she said in her sweet voice, "Uncle Chris says you need to see something important." Ryan picked up his daughter and carried her to the engineering section where Chris and Tony waited with excited expressions. "We did it," Chris announced. "We finally cracked the code for interdimensional travel. Using the combination of human quantum physics and celestial crystal technology, we can open doorways to parallel universes," Tony added. "Think of the possibilities. Infinite worlds to explore. Infinite versions of ourselves to meet." Kira entered with her father, who was visiting for Luna birthday. The Emperor had mellowed considerably since becoming a grandfather, often playing silly games with Luna that would have shocked his royal court. "What have you brilliant humans invented now?" he asked with genuine fondness. Before anyone could answer, an alarm sounded. Amy's voice came over the intercom. "We have an emergency. A ship just appeared out of nowhere. It is sending a distress signal, but the language is unknown." Ryan and Kira exchanged glances before heading to the command center. On the main screen they saw a ship unlike anything in their databases. It seemed to be made of living metal that shifted and flowed like mercury. The distress signal was indeed in an unknown language, but Luna, who had followed them, suddenly spoke. "I understand it," she said. Everyone turned to stare at the 3-year-old. She walked to the communication panel and somehow interfaced with it directly, her small hands glowing with purple light. "They are scared," she translated. "They are running from something bad in their home. Can we help them?" Daddy Ryan knelt beside his daughter. "How do you understand them, sweetheart?" Luna shrugged the way only a child could. "I just do. They sound nice. They have children too who are crying." Ryan looked at Kira, who nodded. "Permission to bring them aboard," he said to the room. The new aliens were unlike anything they had encountered. They were energy beings who had taken physical form to escape their dimension, where a dark force was consuming everything. Their leader, who called herself Melody, resonated at frequencies that created actual music. When she spoke, we heard stories of this dimension. She sang a place where different species lived in harmony, where humans had united the galaxy with kindness. We risked everything to find you to ask for sanctuary. Ryan felt the weight of the moment. They were no longer just helping one species. They were becoming the refuge for anyone in need. The Emperor stood tall and spoke with authority. The Celestial Empire offers you sanctuary, he declared. But Ryan had a different idea. Why just sanctuary? He asked. Why not citizenship? Why not make them part of our growing family? Melody harmonic shifted to something hopeful. You would do that for strangers? She asked. Kyra smiled and took Ryan's hand with two of hers while holding Luna with the other. We do not believe in strangers, she said. Only friends we have not met yet. Luna clapped her hands and the station lights pulsed in welcome, making the energy beings glow brighter with joy. Over the following weeks, they helped the energy beings settle in. Their unique abilities proved invaluable. They could heal damage at the molecular level, travel through solid matter, and communicate across any distance instantly. They shared their knowledge freely, grateful for the safety they had found. Luna became fast friends with the energy being children, teaching them human games while learning to phase through walls, much to her parents' occasional panic. Amy medical research advanced by decades with the new healing techniques. Chris and Tony were beside themselves with excitement over the technological possibilities. One evening, Ryan found Kira in Luna Nursery, singing a celestial lullaby to their sleeping daughter. He watched from the doorway, his heart full of love for his impossible family. Kira noticed him and smiled, beckoning him closer with one arm, while the other three continued to tuck Luna in. She will be extraordinary, Kira whispered. Our daughter will grow up in a universe where anything is possible, where love crosses dimensions, not just species. Ryan nodded. She already is extraordinary, he said, just like her mother. Kira blushed purple and leaned against him. Remember when we first met? Kira asked. When you were just a mining captain and I was a lost princess. Ryan chuckled. How could I forget you were floating in that golden sphere looking like an angel? I thought I was dreaming. Kira turned to face him fully. I never told you this, she said. But I was conscious in that sphere. I saw you remove your helmet. I saw you risk your life to show me your face. That was when I knew humans were special. That was when I started falling in love with you. Ryan kissed her gently. Did you know we would end up here? He asked. Kyra shook her head. I knew we would change things, she said, but I never imagined this. A family that spans species, a home that welcomes refugees from other dimensions, a daughter who can speak to any being in existence, a love that literally rewrote the laws of physics. Ryan laughed at that last part. The next morning brought new challenges and opportunities. The energy beings had information about other dimensions in crisis, worlds where wars raged endlessly, universes where entropy was accelerating, places where life struggled to survive. They painted a picture of infinite suffering but also infinite potential for help. Ryan called a meeting of all the station leaders. We have a choice, he said. We can protect what we have built and be content, or we can open our doors wider, become a beacon across dimensions, a place where anyone fleeing darkness can find light. The room was quiet as everyone considered. Beth spoke first. We are just one station. How can we help infinite dimensions? Chris responded with passion. The same way we helped one princess. 5 years ago, we were just miners. Now we look at us. We are the heart of an intergalactic alliance. If we can do that, we can do anything. The Emperor surprised everyone by agreeing. My empire was dying before you humans showed us another way, he said. We were powerful but stagnant. You brought growth and change. I say we take the leap. Tony added practically, we have the technology now. Thanks to our new friends, we can open stable portals. Luna, who had been playing quietly in the corner, stood up. I want to help all the scared people, she announced with the determination only a 3-year-old could muster. The room melted. No one could argue with that pure, innocent desire to help. Kira stood addressing the room. My husband once told me that humans find another way when faced with the impossible. She said, "Today, I propose we do not just find another way, we create a new way. A coalition, not just of species or galaxies, but of dimensions." The vote was unanimous. They would open the portals. They would become the interdimensional refuge. Over the following months, they prepared building new habitats, training, welcome teams, learning from the energy beings, how to navigate dimensional physics. The day came to open the first portal. Ryan stood, with his family watching as Chris and Tony activated the device they had built. The air shimmered and split, revealing a window into another universe. On the other side, they could see beings looking back with hope in their alien eyes. I said, "Hey, sweetie." The alien princess blushed and replied, "Yes, darling." Ryan and Kira said their special phrase together as they always did before something important. Luna giggled and repeated it in her own way. "Hey, sweetie." She called to the beings on the other side. "Yes, darling," came the translated response. And so humanity's role in the cosmos expanded again, not as conquerors or rulers, but as friends and protectors. The little mining station that had saved one princess had become a lighthouse in the infinite, dark calling all who needed help home. Ryan looked at his wife and daughter, at the friends who had become family, at the strangers who would soon be neighbors. He thought about that first day when he had detected an alien signal and made the choice. To investigate one act of kindness had rippled out to change everything. As new beings stepped through the portal, Luna ran forward to greet them with Kira and Ryan close behind. Watching them, the Emperor said to Amy, "Your species has given the universe something precious." Hope. Amy smiled. "Hope and chocolate cake," she said. "Do not forget the chocolate cake." The story of the human who called an alien princess sweetie spread across dimensions, becoming legend. But for Ryan and Kira, it was simply their life, a life filled with love and adventure, with challenge and triumph, with a daughter who would grow up to be even more extraordinary than her parents. The universe was vast and full of wonders, but the greatest wonder remained the same. Love could transcend any boundary, kindness could change any fate, and sometimes calling someone sweetie could save the universe.